One morning the sky was burning, I was lost in my head, tracing patterns of falling embers from the warnings I'd read. Fought a voice that said, you can't look away or you'll fall with the rest. But every answer slipped like water through the cracks in my chest, and I was standing on the fault line, waves crashing at my feet, trying to hold the world together with nothing underneath, just passing through the weight of the world. She was speaking when we first met, eyes heavy with time. Said she tried to count the endings, but she lost track of the signs. We mapped the cracks, we traced the fall, we tried to measure the tide, but every future pulled apart, no matter how we tried. She turned to me and shook her head and whispered, can't you see? We built a cage from all these answers that were meant to set us free. They undo the weight of the world. I took a job in a tower of glass, writing models on the screen, number stacking into nightmares that I couldn't quite believe. So I drifted down to silent towns where the flood had yet to rise, tried to build something from nothing, tried to keep the dream alive. But all the while the walls came down, more fire chased the gold. Every path we swore was certain only circled back and forth, like deja vu, the weight of the world. She was waiting in a quiet plate, hands buried in the ground. Said the sword still held a memory of something lost and found. She traced the veins in dying leaves like lines across the sky. Said we tried to draw a perfect world, but forgot the reasons why. I felt the cracks beneath my feet, and still I held on tight. To every story built on saving, when no one asked me to fight. But I still do the weight of the world. She lit a candle in the dark and offered me a light. Said you keep carrying the sorrow like it's yours alone to fight. Then she opened up an ancient book and handed it to me. Pages filled with faded letters from forgotten centuries, and every line it left behind spoke softer than the storm, pouring off of every sentence like a world yet to be born. From me to you, the weight of the world. We live beneath the gathering clouds in the shadow of the storm, watching cities turn to echoes before they could transform. The ones who held the highest ground swore they'd never drown, but she and I just stood there waiting as the towers stumbled down. And when the final bell had rung, the silence filled the air. The only thing I knew for certain was that none of it was fair, but I still knew the weight of the world. So now I'm walking back again, tracing where we used to stand. All the visions we once cared turned to dust down inside our hands. Some are running calculations, some just close their eyes. Some believe the war's lost, some still dream beneath the sky. For me, I'm moving forward with a weight I'll always bear. We always see the same horizon, some are just from different air. Both dark and blue, the weight of the world.
He traced the warnings in the dust as the skyline turned to rust. Felt the pull but feared the thrust of time's unraveling thread. A voice inside his head whispered what he couldn't shake, shadows of a specter he must face. He wandered through the empty square, saw disaster in the air. Every crack a world laid bare, a sign he couldn't ignore. He swore he'd seen it all before, like a vision burned in place, a signal from a specter he must chase. A siren hummed from down the street, soft as a secret, cold as deceit. He swore he saw the ground retreat as the buildings turned to dust, but the fear is all he'd trust. Every sound a twist of fate, echoes of a specter he creates. The silence bathed in blue, no fires burn, no storms tore through. Still he swore the vision's true, and turned his back to life. He only knew the weight of night, a fear that never would abate, born from chasing specters in his way. He moves through crowds but sees the ghost of futures lost, of endings host, a haunted mind that lingers most on things that never came. But still he calls them out by name and waits for proof he can't erase, bound all the specters he embraced. People tell him it's a crime to live ahead, to outrun time. Still he's certain of the signs, they always come too late. His shadow bends beneath the weight, worlds he built but couldn't save, drifting with the specters he creates.
We built a tower so tall and bright, through every flaw beneath its light. Then we tore it apart, before it even swayed, scared of how it bright. 1,000 ways to fall. A fire in the distance, flickering low. We watched it burn, afraid to stoke. left it in the dark. Oh, trying to play it safe, never dared to spark. 1,000 ways to fall. Each step we measure, each word we weigh, but find the faults in every way. So we never decide, never take the leap, staring at the grass. 1,000 ways to fall. We chart the risk, we brace the ground. But what if nothing sound can be found? So we turn back around, second guess the plan, never build a door. 1,000 ways to fall. The sky is shifting, the storm draws near. But do we stand or disappear? It's a game we play, when the weight's too great. Falling in our mind, 1,000 ways to fall.
Someone left a note for me, but signed it with a nameless hand. It whispered secrets in the dark, maps of fire drawn in sand. They say the future's set in stone, but I've seen stones get rearranged. Every move's a loaded game, every winner ends up changed. I can't tell you what I know. People ask me every day, they beg to hear what lies ahead. They swear that they can bear the truth, but I just smile and shake my head. Even you just yesterday, you swore the signs were clear as glass. You read the words between the lines and still believed the past would last. Sweet silence, veil of fate, drifting where the shadows choose to stay, burning through the pages thrown away. Veil of fate, falling on the hands of time retreat. You won't see it, babe, not till it's buried at your feet. I met a man who watched the stars, said he could trace the coming storm. I asked him if the sky was doomed. He only laughed and kept me warm. There's a soldier on the hill, watching fire dance in the cold. You can't erase what's yet to come, but if you say too much, it takes its toll. So I said nothing. I woke up with a warning sign, a thread and spool inside my chest. A vision like a fading ghost that I could never quite suppress. You swore you'd never turn away, but some things aren't meant to be known. One day you'll be left to wonder why some stories stay untold, sealed in silence. Veil of fate, drifting where the shadows choose to stay, burning through the pages thrown away. Veil of fate, falling where the hands of time retreat. You won't see it, babe, not until it's buried at your feet. The past is scattered, dim and worn, the future flickers out of reach. You held the answers in your hands, but let them slip like falling leaves. Now the air is turning black and every clock has lost its name. What's right is wrong, what's wrong is right, and every candle lights the same. If I've forgotten, stood beneath the crumbling sky and watched the last of reason fade. You stared into the vacant dark and still refused to look away. The prophet whispered to the wind and left no words upon the ground. I turned away before he spoke, some things I never meant to sound. They slip in silence. Drifting where the shadows choose to stay, burning through the pages thrown away. Veil of fate, falling where the hands of time retreat. You won't see it, babe, not until it's buried at your feet. I walked away, my hands still clean, my tongue still tied with what I knew. No books remain, no letters left, no maps to mark the things I drew. The road still means the stars still fall, and every light returns to dark. I followed truth beneath the veil and lost it somewhere in my heart. Still it lingers. I won't be caught inside the storm, I won't be named, the dust is thrown. I left behind the burden's weight, but still it follows where I roam.
You'll never know the cost I paid for all the warnings left unsaid. And I will never know for sure if silence saved or left us dead. That's the burden. Veil of fate, drifting where the shadows choose to stay. Burning through the pages thrown away. Veil of fate, falling where the hands of time retreat. You won't see it, babe, not until it's buried at your feet.
I've seen hope rise up in flames. I watched it slip through years of blame. Never sure which way the wind will blow. I've chased the dawn and feared the night. Kept my hands too loose to tight. Lost somewhere between fire and fog. Silver lines and hollow doubt. One pulls me in, one pulls me out. Always dancing where the fractures grow. But certainty is just a lie, and every dream is bound to die. Lost somewhere between fire and fog. Falling embers, whispered rain, endings circle back again. Every path's a road I used to know. Too much light can burn you blind. Too much dark will leave you tied. Lost somewhere between fire and fog. Mountains rising high above the distance. Shadows stretching further than they see. Every answer turns into question. Nothing ever cuts as clearly as it gleams. Storms have lived and storms remain. Every season calls a name. Somewhere in the middle I let go. I've seen the future build and burn. The wheel will turn, the wheel will turn. Lost somewhere between fire and fog. I'll be caught between the hands of reason, held beneath the weight of what we've done. I'll be drifting past the edge of meaning, try to believe in something strong enough to run. I'll find you in the worldly building, on the fault lines in the skyline, oh. And maybe that's the way it's meant to be. Not too high and not too low, not too sudden, not too slow. Lost somewhere between fire and fog.
In the boardroom, 30 floors above the ground. Meet me in the boardroom, 30 floors above the ground. They'll say it's about the future, but they're just buying cities down. They say the wisest voices always call for slowing down. They say the wisest voices always go for slowing down. But the ones who preach disaster, they're the kings who wear the crown. Gold-lined invitations, every hand is dressed in rings. Gold-lined invitations, every hand is dressed in rings. And the ones who claim to save us, they just sell the same old things. I've seen them draw the blueprint. I've heard every hollow bow. I've seen them draw the blueprint. I've heard every hollow bow. They say it's all for progress, but they own the land somehow. Look at the moon rising like a death. Look at the moon rising like a death. Ain't that just like their promise? All shine, but nothing left. The council hall was crowded, voices echoing off the walls. The air was thick with formulas, with mottos stacked in charts and calls. A dozen men were talking, laying futures into place. But outside through the window, shadows moved at a silent pace. They were mapping out tomorrow, blind to what the body knows. The screens displayed projections, every crisis named and stored. They ran through all scenarios, through balance sheets of risk and more. One man sat in silence, hands pressed tightly to his side. He felt the tremor in his bones, though nothing shook within their slides. They were measuring the margins, blind to what the body knows. A woman took the podium, her voice was firm but calm and low. She traced a line upon the glass where ocean tides would overflow. You're tracing patterns in the sand, but all the weight is in the ground. You'll watch the numbers shift and spin, but you won't hear the fault line sound. Still they nodded at the figures, blind to what the body knows. A man stood at the doorway, watching closely, keeping notes. His name was printed on reports that promised bridges built from boats. He'd seen the plans, the exit maps, the data dressed in gold. But something in his breath ran shallow, something in his skin ran cold. Still he signed his name in silence, blind to what the body knows. Outside, streets were stirring, something rippled in the air. The sky was clear but carried weight of pressure none could place or bear. The woman turned her fingers, tracing patterns on her sleeve. You say you know what's coming, but it's the present that you leave. Still they waved away her warnings, blind to what the body knows. The models blinked with certainty, probabilities were sealed. They said the course was calculated, the system locked, the path revealed. But the floor beneath them groaned and cracked unnoticed by their eyes. And in the distance something moved, a slow collapse in measured time. Yet they spoke in pure abstractions, blind to what the body knows. The room was filled with laughter as they called for one last round. They poured their drinks, they shook their hands, they drew their theories down. The man who stood there silent let his fingers tap the wood. He felt the pulse beneath the brain, said nothing though he could. Still they clapped upon their ledgers, blind to what the body knows. A messenger arrived too late, the doors had all been sealed. A whisper ran through empty halls, unheard, ignored, concealed. A pressure built beneath their feet, the air grew tight and thin. But still they faced their brows and lines, not what was breathing in. They were framing their conclusions, blind to what the body knows. The woman sat there waiting, eyes half closed, her heartbeat slow. She ran a hand across the desk and let the quiet movement show. You think you own the future, but you have never touched the past. Every moment left unfelt will break the ones you swear will last. Still they turned back to their figures, blind to what the body knows. A tremor in the circuits made the static come and slow. A long delay, a pulse of light, a shift that no one saw at all. Outside the wires trembled, something shifted in the ground. But in the council hall the numbers turned, the pages spun around. Still they called it all in logic, blind to what the body knows. The man who signed the ledgers turned his collar, wiped his brow. A thought was forming something big, but there was no space for doubt right now. The voice had thrown, the ink had dried, the systems locked in place. And deep inside his ribcage something clenched without a trace. Still he spoke in calm assurance, blind to what the body knows. The woman rose and left the room, her steps were slow but sure. She passed the screens, the blinking lights, the doors they locked to keep it pure. She placed a hand against the frame and turned without a sound. You wait for proof to call it real, but truth is what is felt, not found. Still they let the silence linger, blind to what the body knows. The streets outside were shifting and the corners' glass was cracked. The walls they built were standing, but the ground no longer held them back. The air was thick with something else unseen but pulling near. Yet inside every word was burned, no space was left for doubt or fear. Still they set the plans in motion, blind to what the body knows. The first alarms went quiet, signals flashing in the dust. A final paper signed with ease, a promise sealed with boundless trust. Yet somewhere far beneath their feet a pressure wove through stone. The world was not a measured line nor something simply known. Still they swore it was just numbers, blind to what the body knows. The woman reached the outside world, the air was thick and strange. The weight of all their choices hummed in patterns out of range. She placed her hand upon the earth, she breathed in slow and deep. The body only dances it when the mind's asleep. And the world kept slowly turning, knowing what the body knows.
If you meet him, tread with care. He's measured with his word. He speaks in lines and coded signs, unsure of what he's heard. Say for me that I've moved on, though doubts still cloud my view. He might think I'm still waiting. Don't tell him it's not true. We drew the lines in secret halls. The plans were set in place. Yet every move we made back then was just another chase. And though our hesitation carved a canyon through the years, the weight of all we didn't say still lingers in my ears. If you sit beside him, watch the way he turns away. He never once betrayed me, but I lost him anyway. Oh, whatever keeps him steady, I won't put him back. Though the cost of silence follows me, a shadow in the cracks. See their faces shifting as I scan across the room. The whisper games, the shifting blame, the loyalty and ruin. Oh, and I've learned to play the part
I've learned to hold my ground. Either I'm too careful now, or trust can't be unwound. Hands, heavy air, the weight won't disappear. I know it's step by memory. The map is never clear. If he walks this way again, I'll try and meet his eyes. Tell him he can call my name if he thinks it's worth the price.
I walked along the boundary line where ruins turn to dust, where time forgets the names of those who swore their cause was just. The air was thick with echoes from the ones who came before. Come in, he said, the game goes on forevermore. I saw a man with hollow eyes, he swore he knew the end. Said everything would fade away, no kingdom would ascend. But he was just a shadow cast by fears we can't ignore. Come in, he said, the game goes on forevermore. A scholar traced the fall of stars upon an ancient scroll. He mapped the course of empires that had swallowed up their souls. But every line he wrote was blurred by hands that shook before. Come in, he said, the game goes on forevermore. I stood upon a crumbling stage, the crowd had all dispersed. The actors read the final lines, but none recalled the first. Some waited for the curtain call, but silence met the floor. Come in, he said, the game goes on forevermore. I saw a child plant seed beneath a hollow tree. He asked if it would bloom in time for anyone to see. I told him that the roots would grow, no, not may keep the score. Come in, he said, the game goes on forevermore. There's a house beyond the canyon where the firelight is warm, and those who leave their names behind will find no cause to mourn. I almost turned away, but I could not close the door. Come in, he said, the game goes on forevermore. I walked among the endless stones where all the lost remain. Each carving bore a tale of love, of conquest, or of pain. And still the earth reclaimed them all just as it had before. Come in, he said, the game goes on forevermore. A painter brushed the sky in hues no one had seen before. She knew that time would wash them clean, yet painted even more.
She smiled and said the meaning isn't something we restore. Come in, he said, the game goes on forevermore. A traveler across the river said he'd finally found his way. But just beyond the valley lay another yesterday. He turned to me and laughed, he swore he'd walked this road before. Come in, he said, the game goes on forevermore. I reached into the ether, but my hand still touched the ground. The weight of all that ever was still whispered in the sound. I asked if there was something real that ever could endure. Come in, he said, the game goes on forevermore.
Bridges to build, mountains to climb, still got the echoes ringing through my mind. Paths keep shifting, skies unfold. You got all the light, honey baby, let it glow. I've seen storms, and I've seen grace. I've watched the world keep spinning in its place. People will rise, people will fall. If you need me, honey baby, heed the call. I like your voice and the way you dream. I like the way you dance between the seams. I like the fire you hold inside. Everything about you keeps the world alive. Golden horizon, silver stream. I ain't no prophet, but I've seen the dream. I like the way we stand so tall. I'm taking you with me, honey baby, through it all. Time moves fast, time moves slow. All that we carry is all that we know. We do what we must, we do it strong. I do it for you, honey baby, all along.